Hello everyone, welcome to Scarecrow Miniature Painting. I'm Steven, and in this new series that we're working on, we are going to be painting two dwarven clerics. This one right here has a little bit of chainmail on the inside and a tunic above it with some armor pieces spread around. This one has a breastplate, a little bit of guard right there. But beyond that, he is primarily ready for battle in just cloth. What we're doing first is we're looking over our figures, looking for any defects that we may have to trim up or anything like that. But we're also making sure that we can get the effects we're going to try doing in these videos. So in these videos specifically, we are going to be doing non-metal metallics. Now we're going to start off with the face. It's the smallest feature. I want to make sure that we get that painted before we get anything else painted. Now, if you've seen my videos, you know I usually don't start with the smallest features. However, I'm doing this one just so I know what not to hit. And with it being the smaller features, it actually makes it a little bit easier to do any sort of cover-ups when we get to the areas around it, such as the eyebrows. Now with him, we are starting with tan flesh, like we do with a lot of our miniatures. And I'm doing tan flesh because I feel that that is a good base coat for miniature skin. Now he does have a beard, and as you can see, we got a little bit on the beard. That's fine. That's all going to be covered up. Now, his hands are exposed, so we're going to also touch up the hands. Now, just like in our Warlock video, we're going to do our best to not get it on the translucent. This way it doesn't discolor the translucent and make it a little bit harder for us to maneuver the paint onto the translucent. Like with a lot of our figures that we painted, or all of them so far I should say, that we have painted, these are Nosler Marvelous Miniatures. A lot of my figures are older. I believe this one was wave 1 or 2. So as you can see, I'm just now getting to painting it. Beyond that, we are going to do the non-metal metallics, but then we're also going to do a hint of object source lighting with this one. Anytime I have any sort of magic going off, I tend to do object source lighting just because I think it brings the miniature together and gives a life to it. We are going to be doing the Lara Croft commission soon. I just ordered the primer for him. Like I said in one of our very first videos, These Nozzler miniatures are good for beginner painters because they are primed already. And once we get the Lara Croft and the Princess Leia figures and the primer, I will show you all how to prime your miniatures to make sure that you're getting the greatest effect. So I'm just trying to make sure I got every little bit of this hand. That's what we got so far. He's looking good already. In this half of the series, it is entirely possible that we could just be doing base coats. I typically use Citadel palette pads. I am running low on those. I gotta get more. And with me running low on those, I want to try and save them for a commission work such as the Lara Croft and Princess Leia. So now what we're doing is we're just doing a second coat on this hand, trying to make sure that we got everything evenly spaced. We're going to do a second coat on the face. And we're going to do some more highlighting on the facing, on the faces. Specifically this dwarf's face and the other dwarf. And from now on, we're going to start doing a lot more highlighting on the faces. I noticed that in prior videos, we were not doing that as much. So we're going to begin doing that a little bit more. This way I can show you all how to prime your faces. Or not prime it, but highlight your faces and make your miniatures stand out a little bit more than just base skin and base coat. But that's what this series is specifically going to be training us on. And that's because of the non-metallic metallics. So, our next thing we're going to paint is going to be his hair. Now, I'm starting off with uniform gray. So, I'm going to do a uniform gray, and then I'm going to have streaks of white, making it turn into more of a whitish hair. Oh, I had chest pains. I have not decided what color we're going to do the armor. Because like I said, we're doing non-metallic metallics, and he's got two forms of armor that we're going to be messing with. And both of them are going to be difficult to maneuver in a way. What I mean by that is they're flat. They're not cohesively edged or anything like that. Somewhat like the hammer, it's not cohesively edged to where we can actually get a perfect non-metal metallic, but we're going to do our best. Now, our non-metal metallics we're going to do steel. We're going to make it look like steel on the hammer. We're trying to use as little variation in colors. Obviously, highlights are going to have a variation a slight one, but we're still going to have that variation. We are going to have a slight variation when it comes to shades. If we decide to use some actual shades. What I mean by actual shades is, for instance, when we did the translucent painting tutorial about 2-3 weeks ago, we did a red wash, which is essentially a red shade. We are going to work on making sure that our color palette is, I wouldn't say minimal, but designed in a way where if you yourself was looking at it and you did not know how it was painted, you would be surprised that it was only several colors, or several base colors. So we're going to do this beard now. Now we're being very careful with that beard because that beard is right on that face. And if this is your first time watching my channel, thank you for watching. If you see me go quiet, it's because I'm trying to focus on the smallest areas of the figure and making sure that I have hit every point that I can on it with the color. Once we are done with the dwarves, we are going to move on to, and like I said, even possibly even before we are done with the dwarves, we're going to move on to the Laura Croft. Once I do have it in my possession, we're going to start with the Leia that he's also having me do. It looks to be a more larger model, which is why I want to kind of address some things as well with how to do large models and how to prepare for them. Because you're always going to run into a model that you thought was one size, but it might be just slightly bigger. So, as usual, we're just going to do a quick second base coat of the hair. And that beard, and I got a little bit too much on the brush that time. Just trying to get it to lighten up a little bit. Or in this case, darken up since it's a gray. Beyond that, all we have is the eyebrows, which I'm going to try to stipple on right now. And there we have his face. Let me get out of the way so we can kind of see it a little bit better. So as you can see, we got his beard done. I'm going to go over the actual mustache a little bit as well. Try to get that going. Like so. So he's got a full beard, he's got his eyebrows. And we got a little spot we can touch up with on the skin tone. So we're just going to take a little bit of that. We're going to look. We're going to lightly paint over that. I'm going to try my best to get right there. There we go. So just like that. So now I want to paint the cloth of his armor. So I asked Little Scarecrow, for those that haven't watched the channel before, that's my son, what color we should do. And he chose green skin. His favorite color is green right now, so it was no surprise when he said green. And I'm all for it. I'm all for adding vibrancy to our paintings. For those of you that are just now joining the channel and have never watched one of my paintings before, our prior works have been more diluted than I would like. What I mean by that is the colors themselves were just dark. They were drab, almost a grim feeling at times. So I'm trying to take this. I'm going to do a thin coat across the entire sleeve, across that. I'm going to start getting it underneath here. Let's go to right there. Now you probably hear my son in the background as we speak. He, for those of you that have been watching, he was sick this past week. He's starting to feel better, as you can tell. Which is all we can really ask for as a parent, is that they start to feel better. Now, this is starting to turn into a glaze, which is fine. Especially with greens. Greens are hard to get down to the exact point you want. You just don't want that glaze to be too fine, because then you start to lose pigmentation. So we're going to mix in a little bit more of that. We're going to try grabbing it again. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So I'm just going to pull that around. Over there. I'm going to take it on the other side again. And see, I got a little bit of the green on his beard, but that's an easy touch-up. It's easy to fix. But that's what we got so far. And I really like how he's turning out. What I'm trying to do real quick on this one is just get the base coat down. For the pants, I haven't really decided. I might just do a light gray or this orange brown. I'm really feeling this orange brown for some reason. Let's get that right there. What I'm doing right now is I'm just doing the second coat on the other sleeve. And then I'm going to let those two, let that dry. And we're going to move on to his pants. I feel the pants and then the boots would be a good step. And then that'd be a good stopping point because we're just doing the base coats on both of these in the next two videos. Not everything's going to get base coated on here just because we have to do the non-metal metallic portion, and that can get a little bit more finite. So let's move on to the pants. So I'm trying to break up the color pattern a little bit as well. So that's where we're going to go this orange brown for the pants. Because it's almost the same color as our base tone for our skin. So we got the gray on top, we got the green on the sleeves, we got the gray in the hair, and then his boots are going to be a different shade of gray. And then we can also do his belt in gray as well. Or we could do his belt in yellow. I mean, there's a lot that we can do. Okay, so I'm trying to get under the figure now. For those of you that are miniature painters, you'll know that this is one of the harder parts, is trying to make sure you get all the crevices, all the recessed joints. Especially underneath. So we're going to start base coat number 2 on that. We got some on the boot, but we can fix that. That's not an issue. Because we'll probably do the boots in the same gray as his hair, honestly. Because that's a perfect gray as a mid-tone to do some highlighting. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, his boots we may do in non-metal metallics as well. Because we got that cuff. So let's do that in a darker gray as a base coat. This way we can get a good shade going for that, just in case we do decide to go into a non-metallic metallic with that in the future. Those of you that have been following the channel from the beginning know I like to change it up my original idea from time to time. Let's get this guy almost finished. I'm just going to start by doing one coat on the boots. And now I'm using dark stone for these boots. I like dark stone as a color. However, as a warning to anybody who uses them now, once again, I do not have the Fanatics brand worth of Army Painter brands. I have the original set. So my color palette is going to be slightly different and produce slightly different results than the newer paints. But from my experience with Darkstone is that it will always, without a shadow of doubt, almost turn into a wash. But that's what we have. It did a nice highlight and shade already on that boot. And we're trying to get this boot to match. Okay. Now we are about to reach our 30-minute mark. I'm hoping to get both of these miniatures base coated or nearly fully base coated by the end of today. For those of you who did not know, I do 2 videos per session. That is why you usually see me in the same shirt in the next video or two. We're just going to do one more base coat. Try to cover up any of that brown that's shown through. Make sure we got every part of the boot. But yeah, that's already looking nice. I want to get out of the way so you guys can see that. You can see the difference in the boot. Well, one one coat does. So we're going to move on to the next boot. Same thing, we're going to start with a coat. And if we have anything we have to touch up with the pants, we will do at a later time. For those of you wondering if I zenithal highlighted these, no, I did not zenithal highlight them. You can tell by the gray primer across the entire miniature. But right now, this is what we have. Okay, we got his gray boots, his tan pants, his green shirt, and the under tunic right here. I don't want to do gray because that's too close to the boots. I don't want to do green because it's too close to the green. Let's do Let's do a yellow. So I'm going to do that in the next video. We're going to start with the yellow here. We're going to do a smoke smoke and orange brown mixture for this belt across the center. We're going to do the wood grain on the hand. We're going to start the non-metal metallics on the hilt, the pommel, a little bit right there, the guard on the chest, and all of the rivets. While it's fresh in my mind, I am going to touch up the green that got in the beard. So with that being said and done, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the notification bell to make sure you're getting our notifications. If you have Facebook, search us on there, Scarecrow Miniature Painting. And with that being said and done, I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you. Have a great day.